Campaign 2006 is here, and your vote can make a difference. Comcast brings you the candidates on demand right now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Comcast Candidates on Demand. I'm Tony Hill. Joining us today is Andrew Duck, who's Democratic candidate for the United States House of Representatives in the 6th Congressional District. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Glad to have you here. Let's start off by talking about what you feel distinguishes you from others who are running for office this year.
I think the biggest thing that distinguishes me is my record of military service. I'm not a traditional politician. I'm someone who spent 20 years in the military, including 3 deployments to Bosnia and time on the ground in Iraq. And I think right now that's the sort of experience that is sorely lacking in Washington, and that's one of the reasons that I think I'd be an excellent candidate for Congress.
What's the one reason, if you can single one thing out, that made you say, I'm going to get in this race, I'm going to be involved in politics, even from the very beginning? What got you into politics overall?
Well, what really got me involved in this race was the situation in Iraq. I had served in the military for 20 years, and I was serving in Iraq, and I found that on issue after issue, it was interference from Washington that prevented us from doing the job. The way I describe it is, in Bosnia, we did things right. In Iraq, the politicians in Washington wouldn't let us do things right. I became so frustrated that I eventually submitted my retirement, saying, if you won't listen, then there's nothing I can do to help you, and came back home to Maryland. I'm originally graduated from Middletown High School in Frederick County. I came back home and wanted to get involved at the local level.
In terms of legislation, if there's one piece of legislation that you would be able to introduce, what would that be?
I think we need a number of things. And I think the number one issue on people's mind right now is Iraq, and the fact that we need to change our course in Iraq. We need to change our course now. That's not the only issue that concerns me. I also think that we need to have a comprehensive reform of health care in our country. We need to have universal access to health care. I also think we need to have an energy policy that will move us to energy independence within 10 years.
Okay. In terms of being able to strike a balance, and this is in some ways a tough question, but I think a very fair one, you've got constituents that you need to watch out for, and then there are also national issues that you have to try and accomplish or come to some agreement on as well. How do you balance the two, making sure you serve your constituents as well as doing what's best for the country?
I don't see an inherent conflict. Of course, you don't want to build a bridge to nowhere. That's just make-work projects, and unfortunately, we've got way too many politicians in Washington who are interested in doing things that aren't productive. But I'll tell you, there's enough things that we need our government to do that should be being done that aren't. That I think what we need to do is make sure we're focusing on doing those things that our constituents need to have done, and doing the things that our nation needs to have done. I don't see any conflict between the two.
Okay, as people are trying to make up their mind who they will cast their vote for in the general election, give our viewers one reason why they should vote for you versus your opponents.
Well, when you compare me to my opponent, you've got a choice between someone who's a 14-year career politician and somebody who is someone with a 20-year record of having served their country in the military. I think right now you can look at the job that Congress has done, and you see record deficits. You see the largest government we've ever had. You see government that interferes in our personal lives more than we ever have, and we can say that's not what we need. On the other hand, look at my record, and when I enlisted in the military, we had the opponents of the Soviet Union, and I don't claim credit for this, but I claim as being part of the team that has moved us from a Cold War into the current day that we have. You look at what we did in Bosnia, I think we did a very good job. So I have a record of successes, and at the point when the politicians in Washington prevented us from having success, I started working to find other ways to make sure that we could accomplish our mission.
All right, thank you for coming in and talking with us.
All right, thank you for having me, Tony.
My pleasure. That is Andrew Duck, who's Democratic candidate for the United States House of Representatives in the 6th Congressional District. Thanks for watching Comcast Candidates on Demand. Till next time, I'm Tony Hill.